G'day everyone, welcome to Roo and Hammer Season 3, Episode 15. And this is our review of the Round 4 victory by the Warriors over the Broncos. Thank you all so much for joining us for another episode made possible by our wonderful Patreon subscribers. And it's your awesome support that enables us to upgrade our visual presentation via Restream and bring you the content and the guests that you guys all enjoy so much. Hello, Hammer. How are you, mate? Look, before you say anything, it looks like you've had a bit of a Keithy George and you've had to go off to sick bay. Have you done yourself a mischief?
I've done myself a bit of mischief, mate. Yeah. I just at work today, mate, in the job that I do, working in waste management, we do council cleanups and had to do a load of metal waste. Give us a high five.
Give us a high five. Yeah.
And I picked up a piece of metal that was probably a metre by a metre. Just a thin piece of metal, and it was raining, gloves were wet. It kind of slid straight through my hands, and yeah, I've kind of taken a massive gash out of my hand and spent from about 8 o'clock this morning to about 2 o'clock this afternoon at the hospital. And, you know, hats off to Concord Hospital. Mate, when I first saw it, I thought I'll throw a couple of Band-Aids on and get back to work. But yeah, there's a partially severed tendon in there, so I've got to go in tomorrow morning and have surgery. They've kind of put me in this cast to keep my hand pretty much immobile, and so I can't move it. So, which was great. They did all that and then gave me some paperwork and said, "Here, take this home and fill it out." And I was like, "Yeah, good
paperwork."
So I've got my daughter Katana. She's after work. She's here. She had some dinner with and filled out the paperwork, and now she's reliving one of the greatest moments in sporting history, which is the victory of the Warriors over the Broncos in the background watching TV. So, yeah, mate, eventful day, but
wasn't it?
At the end of the day, I'm fine. As everyone keeps saying, it's just a finger.
A mere flesh wound.
Yeah,
it's a mere flesh wound.
I won't make it this Friday, unfortunately, brothers, and sorry to hear about your hand, bro. Jay, that's fine, bro. I'll give you a buzz a bit later on, mate. We can have a bit of a chat. But, yeah, and to everyone that's saying shit to me on the screen, thank you for your kind words. But, yeah, it's just a finger. I've got 7 others and 2 more thumbs, so it's all good.
Yeah, we're all sweet.
But, yeah, mate, in what you were saying in your opener, I just want to echo your thoughts and thank our wonderful Patreon subscribers whose support allows us to do what we do here. And just a reminder to everyone that has tuned in tonight, you know, as we say it every week, the reason we do this show live is the involvement of those watching. So please, as we move through our discussion points tonight, join in the comments, leave your comments. But, mate, as I said, back-to-back Warriors victories. How good's that? How good was the whole day?
Mate, it was absolutely fantastic day. Awesome day. And I would even go so far as to say it was one of the best days out at the footy I've had. It was awesome to be at another live game with you, mate, and with some other friends and supporters of Roo and Hammer. And we had an awesome meet-up at the Dolphins Leagues Club before the game. Awesome venue there, fantastic. And how good were the seats? I mean, you could not get much closer to the action than where we were, and the atmosphere at Moreton Daily Stadium was brilliant.
Yeah, what a fabulous stadium to watch footy at, mate. It's you're so close to the action. You get great vision of the action no matter where you sat. The size of the big screens were a bit bizarre. I do know people who have bigger TVs screens in their homes. Yeah, it was very difficult watching any of the replays on the big screen. Especially if you're looking for a little knock-on or anything like that. You couldn't really see the details too well, but moving on. How's the fantasy, Hammer? Yeah, not going real well. My mum's come in. Did you manage to shower yourself? Mum, this is a family program. Brady Enga, hurt seeing you get so close to BMM. Yeah, mate, he's a wonderful man, BMM. He's... we get to chat to him a little bit, and I'm not going to rub it in. And I do want to apologise, Brad. I didn't get to tune into your show tonight, mate. I had some other stuff I had to do in regards to this injury. So, but I'll watch it back a bit later on, mate. As always, I love supporting you and Richie and what you do.
Yeah, no, we love you guys. You guys are awesome, and yeah, I'll do the same. Yeah, the size of the screens. Size of the screens, as you said, were questionable, but from where we sat, though, we had a much better view of just watching the ground. It was the best seats I've ever had at the footy. Awesome view of the play, and we had injured players around us, which made it even better. Had a great chat with Aaron Penne and Dallin throughout the day, and to be at another game with our good mate Big Tukes, how good is that? It's awesome to see the fans still loving the bloke and the cult hero that he is, and seeing him. He's a real man of the people, and I had quite a few people say, "Is that Mark Tukey?" I was like, "Yeah, of course, yeah, it's Big Tukes himself." He goes, "Yeah, he's not real big anymore, is he?"
Yeah, no, it was great, and Rach is so good. She jumps on the camera and gets the photos and the videos whenever anyone wants a photo with him, and yeah, he's just a regular guy, isn't he? And he gets a little bit embarrassed by all the notoriety that comes with being a former Warriors player. But yeah, no, it was great. It was a wonderful day. Thoroughly enjoyed every moment of it. And mate, guess what? We get to do it all again this Friday. There's a couple of things coming through here on the
couple of questions
screen.
in the chat.
Yeah. Robbie Ray, can you tell us about the Warriors Heritage jersey, the one this year? No, we can't. We're sworn to secrecy.
He keeps strong.
Yeah, he needs some tips for his super coach. Don't ask me, bro. I'm going awful. He also said, Roo, he loves listening to your journey as becoming a Warriors player. Yeah,
yeah, thanks, mate.
That remembers is going to be a really big thing on YouTube. It's great listening. Has he now name of Little Tukes? No, he's still Big Tukes. Richie Sterling, winning streak, boys. Let's go on Warriors. Absolutely. Warren Ruffy, hope your momo gets better soon, Hammer. It will, mate. Braden Kendall, birthday today. I turned 26. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Many happy returns, Braden.
Brad Inga says, all good, understand, fingers for the hand gets better. Ha, ha, ha. And Robbie Rush, Roo Hammer at Mount Smart Stadium this year. That's the plan. We
hopefully.
For one of those 4 games. But yeah, speaking of games, mate, should we take a look at last week's victory over the Broncos?
Absolutely, let's do it. Okay, as we all know, it was a 20-6 victory by our Warriors over the Broncos there at Redcliffe. Warriors 20, a double to Jesse Arthurs, coming back to haunt his former/future side, as they kept saying in the telecast. And Hectic Montoya scoring a fantastic try in the corner there. And Walshy kicking 4 from 5. The Broncos' 6 points came from Alfie Langer. I beg your pardon, Adam Reynolds. It was a real Alfie Langer try, though, wasn't it? Little solo effort.
It was, mate,
from the kick. Yeah. Buoyed by the return of Sean Johnson, the Warriors played our first home game at Moreton Daly Stadium against the Broncos. And I must say they did an awesome effort of sort of dressing it up like a home game. They had the tunnel. They had all the the H2O bursts and the music, and so they really made a big effort to make it like a home game, which was fantastic. And it was in front of what was recorded as a sellout crowd, but not quite a sellout, as it was just over 9,000, I think they said on the day.
Yeah.
There were significant changes to the Warriors lineup. Sean Johnson, as we said, making his return at halfback, and that moved Cody back to the bench. Jazz started at lock, and Josh Curran moving to the right edge, and Eli Katoa back to the bench. Rocco Berry out injured, and Pompey moving into the centres, and Ed Gozzi getting his first start of the season on the right wing. And Aaron Penne withdrawn with a shoulder injury, and BMM was the new face. He was promoted onto the interchange bench. And unfortunately, our good mate, the merchandise, had to wear the blue bib again. 18th man.
You can't get rid of that blue bib, can
you? Can't, yeah.
We said to him after the game, what's with the blue bib, mate? He goes, hopefully next week. So,
yeah.
And he crossed his name. Interesting, when we were talking to Aaron Penne, he was pretty filthy that he wasn't playing.
Wasn't he? Yeah, he's gutted.
He thought he would have been right to go. I guess, better to rest him an extra week and just make sure he's right for the rest of the season. But, mate, it was a good start to the game. Off the sets, we made really good meters off the back of both Lodge and Fanua Blake, who were outstanding. Both those guys really getting through some strong carries. And Jazz starting in the middle, I thought that gave the Warriors some much-needed energy and intensity from the outs and really stiffened up our midfield defence. First, deep in Broncos territory, back at some good running and some fast plays. Sean Johnson, front foot, he runs deep in the line and he hit Jesse Arthurs, who ran a really great hole, and he Warriors' first try.
Yeah, the Warriors, we really controlled that game and the tempo of the game playing deep into the Broncos half, but the Broncos got a real fortuitous call when Herbie Farnworth clearly playing the ball, knocking it on, but it wasn't called by the refs, and Oates runs 50 metres to get the Broncos out of trouble. But our defence, thankfully, was really aiming up. First, Montoya putting on a shot on Cobbo down the left side, putting him into touch, and then a set or two later, Ed Gozzi. What about that hit on Farnworth? Absolute hospital pass. He just gave him a rib rattler, and that caused the turnover and put us on the attack. Those two guys in particular, they were outstanding for us.
Yeah, they were, mate. And I know I'm going to speak about Ed a little bit later on in the show, but it was just wonderful to set an opportunity in the top grade again, and he nailed it. Absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, he's been a bit of a punching bag for a lot of people, but I think he silenced his critics with that performance. He was very strong, as we'll touch on later. The Benny Hannant lookalike, Tom Flegler, gets 10 minutes in the bin for his second offence, penalised for a hip drop on Wade Egan earlier, and then a late tackle on AFB. And then the Broncos, they lose Albert Kelly, crucially to a lower leg injury. And up against 12 men, the Warriors work their first set to the right edge, and Johnson and Walsh combining beautifully to open up the space for Arthurs to get his second. And a beautiful sideline conversion from Walsh, just slotted it, and the Warriors took a 12-0 lead.
Yeah, I just watched that try again, actually, because I've got the game on in the background over here. Katana's watching it. She didn't get a chance to watch it on the weekend. I think she's watching it more for the sake of where she can see us more so than the game that's happening on the field. But
plenty of
I just caught that. I just caught that second Jesse Arthurs try. The play that Reece Walsh did there, where he kind of dummied and ball, he spun around, he took in another defender, and then shifted the ball on. It was really smart work by Reece, and there's a lot of comments about Jesse Arthur. I think Jesse Arthurs is going to be the Marcelo Montoya of 2010, where we kind of questioned where Montoya was going to be last year, and then when he got his opportunity, he was in the side all year, and he got our Clubman of the Year. And Arthurs is kind of doing the same thing. I questioned where he was going to play this year with, our outside backs, who I thought would play, and only being on loan, whether he'd actually get an opportunity. But, yeah, he's come into the side, and he looks really, really good. He looks like he fits in. And I saw Mark Roberts posted before. There is talk that the Warriors are trying to entice him to stay.
Absolutely. We're thin on stocks in the outside backs, and he's come in there. He's done a job, so why not?
Mate, I'm just fearful if they approach the Bronx and it's like, we want to keep Arthurs, the Bronx's comeback's going to be, well, you give us Walt. I don't know.
No deal.
Yeah, no deal. And Ken Wilson, great to meet you on the weekend too, Kenny.
Yeah.
Sean
Ken,
Johnson must be kept for the season if they remain injury-free. Absolutely, mate. And we talk about them a little bit later on. But it was by Jazz Tavanga, who was put on report in the 27th minute for a cannibal, and from the ensuing penalty gives the Broncos great field position, and that's when Adam Reynolds scored from that grubber kick to get the Broncos back within 6 points. I don't know, maybe I'm looking through rose-coloured glasses. I didn't think the tackle was bad. I mean, it doesn't look good when Carrigan actually doesn't come back on for the second half, but I thought he hit him above the knee and slid down. It was marginal. He's been given two, so it is what it is. Mate, we're able to put more pressure on themselves by putting the kick from the restart out on the full after that Reynolds try as well. And the defensive set was a good one with some great goal line defence. And Jesse Arthurs with a strong tackle on Billy Walters. He forced a turnover of possession. And then a few sets later, the Broncos on the attack, Marcelo Montoya jams in on Kenny Staggs. He hits him with a bone-jarring tackle. He forces the ball. And the next set sees that left side raid quick hands from CHT and Walsh, and then a nice little flick pass from Adam Pompey.
Beautiful. Hiku-like, yeah.
And he scored.
Yeah, it went over in the corner, and so that was a 16-6 halftime score. The first half defence, particularly from the outside backs, absolutely outstanding. The Broncos started the second half well, though. Corey Oates going very close to scoring in the corner, but a fantastic try saver from a flying Sean Johnson denying him. He was very good defensively, Sean Johnson, in this game, not shying away from any contact or defensive duties, actually having 3 solid one-on-one tackles and really tested out that injured pec.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just reading the comments that are coming through. Matt said, what would have been the ultimate penalty for Flegler? Should he have been sent to the Tigers? Mate, wish that on anybody.
Not on your worst enemy.
Yeah, and I'm not alone by the looks of things in regards to the Jazz Tavunga tackle. Both Ruben Allen Newman and Malcolm Earnshaw agree that they thought it was above the upper thigh and slid down. We never get those 50-50 calls, those marginal calls like that. It comes to Jazz and the judiciary, but I agree with Ruben. He has been awesome this year. He has provided a lot of good offloads, tied up that defence, and he's cleaned his discipline up a lot, which has gone a long way to him being one of our better players through the first sure. In regards to Shawnee and his pec, I was a bit worried he might have come back a week early, but he proved with his defence that his pec was right to go. The second, there was a true arm wrestle with both teams getting through their sets and getting in diff tackle options. We did chance our hands a few times in the second half, but we were unable to convert those chances into points. And Sean Johnson at one point, he was very unlucky not to score chasing through his own kick, a nice little grubber he put in for himself. And then with 10 minutes to play, Brad Ingler's boyfriend, Ben Murdoch-Masilla, he gets injured from a hip tackle, again from Tommy Flegler. Flegler on report for the 4th time in the match.
Polar bear.
We take the goal, and Walsh converts that penalty shot, and we to an 18-6 lead.
Yeah, the Broncos, they then go close through excitement machine Selwyn Cobbo, who knocks on trying to get downward pressure on the ball. Walsh just sort of sitting there willing the ball over the dead ball line. He should have just made a bird of it and just kicked it or grounded it instead of trying to shepherd it over the dead ball line. It was a real narrow escape, and he was not far away from scoring that. And it was funny, the video referee at the ground, obviously the bunker, I should say, said Selwyn Cobbo has bounced the ball in the in-goal area, and from where we were sitting, it sounded like he said had grounded the ball in the in-goal area, and the Broncos were all high-fiving and celebrating. And we're like, surely you said bounced, and then it came up on the screen as no try. So it was a bit of a confusing moment there. But Broncos thought they'd scored, and we thought that he hadn't. So anyway, no try, as it should have been. A late penalty against the Broncos for a professional foul, which saw Turpin sin-binned. Walshy again takes the shot at goal for a 14-point unassailable lead. That was the game.
I'm just reading the comments coming through. There is a one Mr. Joshua Curran who has joined us. Jazz is a grub.
Jazz is a grub.
Yeah, good on you.
There you have it, folks.
The man himself, Josh.
Awesome. We'll take a look at some of these game stats and get into some of these discussion points here regarding the stats for the game. We got those there.
Yeah, mate.
So 55% possessions, the Warriors 45%, 80% completion rate, which is pretty good for the Warriors, to 71% Broncos. 1,638 metres, the Broncos 1,362. Huge post-contact metres for the Warriors, 707 to 583. 4 line breaks to the Broncos, 1. Tackle breaks, pretty much even, 32-31. Kick return metres, 165 to 102 to the Broncos. Broncos making about 50 more tackles. Missed tackles, again, very even. Tackle efficiency, pretty good from both sides, 90% to 91% to the Broncos. Warriors, 10 errors to the Broncos, 15. 7 penalties conceded for the Warriors and 10 to the Broncos.
Yeah. I'm just going through the comments here. Says Sean Johnson brings a lot of calmness to the team. that Jazz is a grub sticks out like dog's balls. Robbie Reyes is now serenading Josh Curran. He says, "I hope you make Origin. Should I select you for NRL Fantasy?" Anthony Peake wants a try from Josh Curran this week. See what you've done, Josh. Now you're getting in there, and people are wanting stuff from you. Ruben Allen Newman. The side game plan should be Plan A going into every game. If all behind by 10 or more, refer to Plan B, which is thrown around a lot. I agree. And a couple of comments there about Adam Fanua-Blake. He'll be missed this week. Yeah, named on that. So my footy brain tells me that if he was no chance of playing at all, they wouldn't have named all. So put him in the 25 probably gives him a chance to prove his fitness at the end of the week. But yeah, we'll just have to wait.
It's hard to say, Yeah.
It is hard to say. It is hard to say. We'll get into some discussion point. Paul, Jazz Stefano copping a 2-game suspension for that cannonball tackle on Patrick Carrigan. Mate, fair call. You know how I feel. I thought he hit above the knee and slid down. I'll go back to Josh. Josh says that he's a grub. What's your thoughts on what's happened to the hats? Roo looks like he's without one. Well, mate, I got my hair in a ponytail, so the hat doesn't sit real well, and I can't redo the ponytail, so I've got to leave it in. And Rob's channeling his inner John Stamos.
Have mercy. You can call me Uncle Jesse if you like. If anyone, coincidentally, in the chat can remember anything else John Stamos has done other than Full House, then please comment, because we were struggling. We couldn't come up with anything.
And Full House. Yeah, we don't want Full House.
Nothing affiliated with Full House. Go. See what you guys have got.
Yeah, mate. So what was your thoughts on Jazz's suspension?
Yeah, probably a bit of a victim of his own reputation. And it wasn't, as you said, it wasn't a good look when Paddy Carrigan came out with that leg brace on. So I think that may have sealed his fate there, unfortunately. He'll be missed. Absolutely. He brought so much energy to the side the last couple of weeks, so he'll be a big out.
Yeah, and just a graphic up on screen shows those minutes from this weekend. The minutes they played. Jazz played long minutes, 61. Adam played 58. Similar amount of 18, 18, 17. Adam with his 202 and 104 post-contact metres. Jazz very busy in the middle, defensive with 32 tackles and 4 offloads as well, which was pretty good. And Lodgy was it was kind of weird, wasn't it? Because watching the game live, it kind of looked like Lodgy had played lots in the 47 minutes that he's been credited for. But as you said to me yesterday when we were chatting, it's probably the fact that he did it in stints. He had 3 stints out there.
Yeah, it was sort of broken up a little bit. So it just seemed like he was out there longer when he'd actually had a few spells. Okay, yeah, as you can see, Tavunga and Lodge there. Massive stats. I was just going to talk about. Sorry,
mate. Don't mind. I'm working left-handed, so I'm just things that happen that shouldn't be happening. It's all good.
Sorry, no worries. No, Brad just said Stamos was in ER and grandfathered. It's grandfathered,
mate. I looked up today. He was only in 1 episode of ER.
Forever Uncle Jesse.
Who's your favourite Warriors unsung hero? Doherty. Carl Doherty played 5 games for the club. Why does he get to be an unsung hero?
He seems to be very fond of Carl Doherty. Each to their own, though.
Yeah, he's got a man crush on Carl Doherty.
Yeah, he loves a bit of Carl Doherty. Yeah. I was going to talk about Sean Johnson's influence, actually. A couple of the guys in the chat had brought it up, how he brought a lot of calm and control to our game as well. 65 episodes for Stamos. There you go.
Oh, was it? I only watched one.
I watched the one. Sean Johnson. I love the way how we didn't panic in attack this week. Sean Johnson obviously added the control and the tempo and the direction to the attack. He was quite vocal on the field as well and constantly slowing down the plays. You could see him going like this the whole time, tell everyone to calm down, slow down, and play with a level head. Defensively, as we said before, very good too. Made some great contact with some crucial one-on-one tackles. I will say, though, the last 20 minutes of the game, he tried some of those long cutout passes, one that was almost intercepted by Corey Oates, and that could have been a huge momentum changer. With about 20 to go, if Oates catches that and scores and we're back to 16-12, we start to get the wobblies again. Yeah. But, luckily wasn't to be. But, there's a couple of moments at the back end of the game where I think we tried to score off play 1 or 2, and those sets close to the line, which, it's his second game back this year, so we can forgive him for that.
Yeah, it was interesting to hear him talk about getting the win in that jersey again on the weekend. And he said, no offense to Cronulla, but that Warriors jersey just means so much to him, which is really refreshing for the fans to hear as well. But, mate, he just looked – we saw him in preseason training, and he just looked so happy and so good to be back in that environment and going in the game as well. And he's the Shaun Johnson that we need to be in regards to just directing the team around the park. We probably needed him to leave up and then come to be able to transition into that role.
Exactly right. Yeah, we had the highlight reel Shaun Johnson, but it wasn't the player that we probably needed at that time. So we probably needed the game control, game management, calm head, experienced Shaun Johnson. Yeah,
absolutely. Mate, defence wins games. Equally as impressive as how we didn't panic equally as impressive was how we didn't panic in defence either. I thought our defence was rock solid, particularly on our own line. There was the one which was the little grubber, and he caught Reece Walsh moving too far to his left. But the defence of our outside backs, particularly Montoya and Cozzy, was excellent. Stopped attacking raids, and they forced errors from the Broncos. And I thought those outside backs were absolutely out on the weekend. There they are. Those big units.
They're awesome, and they are big units when you see them up close, especially Ed Cozzy. He is a big boy, and he's going to cause some damage. Speaking of big bodies, Nick Giannopoulos. Sorry, mate, that's a stitch up, Sean. Nick Giannopoulos. I've gone from John Stamos to Nick Giannopoulos. No. Okay.
Yep.
What was it? Acropolis Now? Was that the show he was
in?
It. Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
That takes me back. I'm going to talk about the middles, and the middles laying the platform. Our middle forwards, they really laid the platform for this victory. Some big, strong carries and big workloads as well. It was great to see Brownie keeping one of either Lodge or AFB on the field at all times. So it looks like he's kind of learnt from a few moments last season where that kind of backfired on us. In the back end of the season, as we said, he'd taken off guys and the momentum just got lost, the forward momentum. So this season he's opted to keep one of them on the field and at all times, and it's paying dividends because our work rate and intensity just doesn't drop off. So as we said, Jazz playing long minutes as well in the middle, and he was a great option, and he will definitely be sorely missed next 2 weeks, especially with his work rate and the energy that he brings in the field.
Absolutely. Mate, does it concern you that we've struggled or have been unable to score 3 tries in any of our 4 games this season? Hopefully, as Spine play more games together, they learn the intricacies of each other's games and points become a little easier to get. It was the first time that Walsh and John played together. First time that CHT and Johnson had played together in the halves. So I suppose we weren't far off a few more tries in this one with handling errors, handling less down. There was one point in the second half, in that first half after the Montoya try where we went down that side again and in another little flick pass that went over the sideline. That was a missed opportunity. There was the Shaun Johnson kick, which was a missed opportunity. Does the inability to score more than 20 points worry you from those 4 rounds?
Maybe a little bit. It's early days and we haven't had continuity in our spine. So every game it's been a different setup. So we haven't been able to really build those combinations. It would have been nice to see us score a couple more tries on the weekend. But, you know, as I said, it's only round 4. We'll see how we go if Chanel and Sean are able to strike up a combination with Walshy there as well. That should bring plenty more tries.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the thing that Sean brings to us is that kick meters, 472 kick meters. He had 504 kick meters in the game against the Dragons in the game that he played. Stat for me that was most impressive was there was 3 one-on-one tackles that he did in that game, and they were really crucial one-on-one tackles, which really, as you said earlier, it really tested out his pec. And, you know, whilst he's starting to find his feet in this team too, he's taking on a lot more responsibility. So I think the more that these two play together, I think points will start to come. Yeah, whilst he would be good in the half, mate, but fullback's where he's opted to play.
I think they're worried about his defensive workload in the halves as well.
Yeah. Braden Kendall, why do the Warriors let players go because every time we let them go to another club, they start playing good?
Because we don't have a 300-man squad and we can't keep everyone. Yeah. And, yeah, I mean, it happens to every club, not just us. Yes, we have had the odd player go to a different team and play well. But I don't think that's exclusive to us. But, you know, it does. I get what you're saying. It is annoying when you have someone in the team like, let's say, Isaiah Papali'i, for example, struggled in his last couple of years for us, went to Parramatta and had a new lease of life. Yeah, it happens, you know. Sometimes players just need to change the scenery.
Yeah, that's right. Sometimes they do. Sometimes the environment they're in is not conducive to bringing out their best footy, and you know, they need to challenge themselves somewhere else, and you know that's what he's done. Yeah.
All right. So getting onto our player of the match, and that was Torius player of the match for round 4 was none other than Captain Fantastic Addin Fanua-Blake, who was absolutely outstanding. 202 run meters, 104 post-contact meters, 1 tackle break, and 26 tackles. So he picks up our Torius player of the match, taking all 3 points as well.
Yep. And we gave our 3 points to Addin. 2 points went to... We gave 1 point to Ed Cozzy. The game that he played, watching that live, you know, I mean, Walshy had a good game. Sean was very strong. But, you know, for a young kid that, you know, played a couple of games last year under duress, basically, they pulled him out of Woolworths packet shells and threw him into first grade. And there was a batter, and he, as you said earlier, he became a bit of a punching bag for a lot of Warriors fan pages. But, you know, we thought that he played very, very well, and so we gave him our 1 point. And that shows now that our 3-2-1s for the season so far, the Roo and Hammer player of the season, Josh Curran leading with 8 points. Addin Fanua-Blake in second place, and Reece Walsh on 3 points. Then we've got Lodge on 2, Johnson, Harris Tavita, and Ed Cozy on 1.
Yes, awesome. And, yeah, good to wrap up that round 4 discussion. And we will now move on to some of the other games that were played in round 4. And we're going to start with this game here. We had the Titans 8 over the Tigers 6. Now, I used this description for our game against the Tigers last week. I said it was a Freddy Krueger game. And what I mean by that, it was hideously ugly and haunts your dreams. And I think I will translate that over. This was the ultimate Freddy Krueger game. I think anyone who watched this game would agree. Titans 8, Brimson getting a try in like the last 30 seconds. Sexy Sexton, a couple of conversions. The Tigers 4, Luke Brooks kicking 2 from 2. Yes, Ruben, this game was worse. Titans with 2 changes to the name team. Isaac Liu, Bo Fermor both out. Proctor and Jolliffe onto the running side, and Jared Wallace and Sam McIntyre, new faces on the bench. Tigers came out as named 1-17. Proctor's 100th NRL game to the Titans, so congratulations to him, even though he probably won't want to remember that one. And a pretty even first 20 minutes in this one, and both teams completing at 70%. Both teams defending well, but it's, as we said, it soon topped last week's Tigers-Warriors as the ugliest game of the season, if not in history. Good old Fred Kruger. Tyrone Peachy sent to the sin bin for repeated infringements. Titans just unable to capitalise on the extra man. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Mainly due to poor handling, unable to complete a set in the first 10 minutes while Peachy was off the field. A penalty goal each, and the only points of the first ugly first half. Tigers actually looked a bit better in that second half, better of the two teams in that second half, and they looked more likely to score. But that second half was much like the first half. Both teams pretty even and just unable to score. Just couldn't get the job done. Missed opportunities, blowing chances. Tigers with another penalty goal for a 4-2 lead with 11 minutes remaining. And then they took another one with 4 minutes to go for a 6-2 lead, which, you know, in hindsight probably wasn't the right call. But
it wasn't.
Yeah. It looked like we were heading for our first trialist game of the NRL era, and the first trialist game since round 12, 1993. How about this one? Bulldogs versus Illawarra.
Yeah. Do you know what the score was?
Was that 3-2?
3-2.
Or 4-5 or something like that. It was something weird. I remember. Yeah, 3-2.
3-2.
Fantastic. Yep. What a spectacle that would have been. I think John Simon might have kicked the
There was a trialist grand final back in 86, I think it was, the 4-2 final, Para and Canterbury. But that was actually a game of footy. Unlike this.
Let's not forget about the greatest trialist game of all time. Game 1, State of Origin, 1995, Queensland 2-0. The Wayne Bartram kick. Anyway, as fate would have it, the poor hapless Tigers, a kick that ricocheted off the posts and failed to be cleaned up by the Tigers, and AJ Brimson, Johnny on the spot, dots down for an 8-6 Titans win. Let's move on from that very quickly.
Just on that, though, mate, Kevin Proctor playing that 100 games for the Titans, he actually became the first player, I think they said, that played 100 games for two different clubs.
Yeah, right. Okay.
There's a couple that it played, like Pricey played 200 and something for the Dogs, and he played 91 for us, close to 100 games for two. But I think Proctor's the first that has done it. So congratulations to Kevin Proctor. Not that he's watching or listening to this.
Mark Roberts, Tigers and Titans with Edward Scissorhands style handling. I think one of them was Freddy Krueger, the other was Edward Scissorhands.
Hey, I loved Edward. Good movie.
Yeah, it's a good film.
Mate, the next game, which was the first game on Friday night, which was the Sharks 18 over the Zip. Sharks tries to Aidan Tolman, Sione Katoa, CLC for Talakai, and Bubba Kennedy. Hines 1 from 4 goals. And for the
terrible
Knights,
conditions there for the kickers.
Yeah, mate. Mate, both teams lined up as named earlier in the week, with the only change being for the Knights with Jacob Saifidi dropping to the bench and Leo Thompson for his first run on game. Mate, I love the effort of both teams in this one, but I'm really loving the play the Sharks are playing. Hines is really directing the play around. Plus, he's a big running halfback that constantly takes on the line, and he does that on both sides of the field. Him at the line, it kind of holds the defence up and stops early to the edge ball runners, and it gave a guy like Talakai a lot more room to move and a lot more one-on-one opportunities, and he absolutely destroyed that right edge defence of the Knights. Dane Gagai did a good job trying to control him, but Talakai is just a massive man. First try of the match came via Aidan Tolman, who scored in his 300th game. Talk about a fairy tale. I think.
Good for him. He doesn't get many, does he?
No. There's only been 9 guys in history that have scored in their 300th game, and he's one of them.
Ryan Hoffman did it for us.
Yeah, Andrew Eddinghausen did it as well. So there's 2 Sharks. So you can put Aidan Tolman in the same category as Andrew Eddinghausen now. Mate, hurricane-like conditions there at Dark Park, and it was funny to see Nico Hines turn to the bench and say, "What's the point?" When he was taking a sideline conversion. Mate, the Predator
Dominic Young. He was sin bin for a dangerous lifting, 20 minutes to go. And the Knights did well to contain for 9 of those 10 minutes, but eventually the Knights' defence cracked and the man Mountain tough deserved try. Although they were kept scoreless, Newcastle's effort was pretty good. It needs to be commended. But yeah, Coach Craig Fitzgibbon has the Sharks playing a really confident and entertaining brand of footy. Great shape, everyone knowing their roles, doing the job, and I think they're a team that's going to be fighting for a top 4 finish. I picked them at the beginning of the top 8. I'm now saying that if they continue on their progression, I think they'll be a top 4. And it was the first time the Sharks have kept there since 2016. Round 10, they won 62-0, coincidentally, against Newcastle.
They certainly are a team on the rise, the Sharkies. Moving to the second game on Friday night, we had the Panthers up against the Rabbits out there at Penrith. And the Panthers came away with a 26-12 victory. Panthers a try to bad boy double to Taylor May. Tago, Crichton and Martin got tries. Cleary 3 from 6. Rabbitohs, Graham and Walker with the tries, and Mitchell 2 from 2. Obviously, the much-anticipated grand final replay built up mainly because of the inclusions. And the Panthers buoyed not only by the return of the cyborg himself, Nathan Cleary, but also Casper Martin and James Fisher-Harris, both back from injury. So getting close to full strength there, the Panthers. And the left side raid left in their very first set resulted in points with Isaac Tago scoring. And South's trying to pressure Cleary with 2 defenders trying to take time and space away from him, but Cleary adjusts by standing a little deeper in attack, and that pays dividends. And with the Rabbitohs leaving themselves short on the right side, and then Crichton goes over to score. The Souths do get one back, though. Campbell Graham on the right edge, isolating the inexperience of Tago and May out there. And then Penrith hits straight back through Taylor May, and he makes the double not long after halftime. And his second an 8-point try. Lachlan Ilias ruled to have led with the knees. So an 8-point try there. We're starting to see a few more of those these days, aren't we? It used to be one that you'd see maybe once a season, but Penrith using their defence to suffocate the Bunnies, and for most of that second half, but South off the back of the Panthers' error score drew Cody Walker. But Penrith now, they're unbeaten in their last 17 games at home, and that goes back to 2019, and they win their 40th game in a row when they've led at halftime. Yeah,
they're just a machine, that team, aren't they?
Absolutely,
First game of Super Saturday was Redcliffe, which we've already touched on. So the second game was Manly hosting the Raiders. Manly 5. Rex Manly tries to Garrick, Harper, Atu and Tommy Trbojevic. Garrick 4 from 5 goals, and Cherry Evans with a field goal. For the Raiders, their lone try to Jack Whiten with Brad Schneider. Is it Schneider or Schneider? From 1 goal.
Schneider, I believe.
Okay. Manly with a couple of changes. They had Tolatau Kula named in the centres for the injured Brad Parker, and Josh Aloiai named in the front row. Sean Kebby forced to the bench. For the Raiders, Ricky Stewart again opted to start Matt Frawley at 9, pushing Tom Starling back to the bench. Pretty evenly contested first half of the Seagulls, leading 10-6 at half-time, but Cherry Evans took control in the second half. He kicked a 20-40 and a 40-20 and a late field goal, so laying on 2 tries with kicks. The Raiders paid a high price for errors near their own line in the first half, and while finished with 24 offloads to Manly's 7, the Green Machine rarely threatened in attack. Jack Whiten was Canberra's best, while the Seagulls had a number of star performers. Rookie centre Tolatau Kula and forward Josh Aloiai and Hamole Olaka'atu were heavily involved, but no player made a bigger impact than Evans. And it looks like the Raiders are the team that have seemingly played back into form after last week.
Yeah, it's not us for once.
It's not us, mate.
Moving on to the final game of Super Saturday, up there at Townsville, and the Roosters came away with a 28-4 victory over the Cowboys, the ill-disciplined Cowboys, we should say. Cowboys 4 points came from a try to Tuilagi, and the Roosters 28. Joey Manu put on a bit of a clinic. Womarovsky, Radley, Nagama, and Tupou with tries. Walker 2 from 6. The Cowboys, they'd moved Jason Taumalolo to the front row to cover the injured Cohen Hess, and Ruben Cotter moving to lock, and JTB the new man on the bench. The Roosters brought the veteran journeyman Kevin Nagama back on the wing to replace Billy Smith. JWH and Drew Hutchinson both promoted to the starting 13, and Lindsay Collins, Connor Watson, they went back to the bench. The Roosters got their premiership campaign well and truly back on track with a 28 points to 4 win. A Cowboys side that was unable to overcome the loss of 3 players to the sin bin. So a bit of ill discipline there. Prop Tom Gilbert, second rower Griffin Neem, and star halfback Chad Townsend, they all spent stints in the sin bin. And the Roosters ran in 6 tries to 1 with coach Trent Robertson watching from home after picking up a nasty case of COVID. The assistant coaches, Jason Rolls and Matt King, oversaw the Roosters' best performance of the season, led by centre Joey Manu, and he scored 2 tries and threw the final pass for 2 more. JWH and Victor Radley, 5'8" Luke Keary, and James Tedesco showed outstanding leadership. The only concern, though, for the Roosters being the goal kicking of Sam Walker, who landed just 2 conversions. And they were trailing 20-0 at halftime, the Cowboys, and they turned in an improved second half, despite losing those guys to the sin bin. But unfortunately for them, their star fullback, Hamaso Tapuai-Fido, picked up a knee injury. That's the Little Hammer.
That is the Little Hammer. A couple of things coming through. Malcolm Earnshaw asks, is Jared Crocker in the undergrades? He keeps getting named on the next bench and then doesn't play. So I don't know if he drops back and he plays New South Wales Cup. I haven't actually checked playing in the New South Wales Cup the last couple of weeks. And Mark Roberts, Manly prop Josh Aloy could be known as Josh Aloy Ridgie. Aloy yes. Mate, Sunday. Yeah. After all the hype of the year with they won that one game at the beginning of the season again. It's like normal transmission resumed. The Storm, 44. Tries to Pappenhausen, 4. King, Coates, Kafusi, all tries. Pappenhausen, 6 from 8 goals. The Bulldogs, a big duck egg. The Storm, with just 1 change to the team, they had Nick Newman for the wing, to the wing for Dean Aramaya. For the Bulldogs, Zoolander Trent Barrett mixed it up a little bit this week. He put Jake Averillo under the centres, replacing Aaron Schopp. Came onto the interchange. Following a decent start to the season, where they've been around for the opening 3 rounds, as I said, the balance of the universe returned to normal. Storm putting the Dogs to the sword. Ryan Pappenhausen with an absolute masterclass at the back for the Storm, scoring 4 tries. The Bulldogs they struggled to contain the milk, and with ball in hand, they struggled to trouble the Storm defence. Keeping the Bulldogs nil was a massive statement, considering the strike power the Bulldogs now have outside backs and their edge back rowers, and the Storm with possibly their best lineup with all but Christian Welch available selection, really making a statement to move into second place on the ladder. The Fox would have been thinking, I don't think he's thinking, take me back, boys. I think he's thinking, what the fuck have I Trent Barrett must have the work on NRL coach, worse than Mooks. I'd say he does.
He had 1 or 2 good years for Manly, I think, and then the rest has been fairly average.
And then they bought the plastic garden furniture, and he spat the dummy, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Well, mate, speaking of normal transmission resuming, the Eels absolutely spanking the Dragons 48-14. Brad would have enjoyed that one. Eels 48. 2 tries to Moses, 2 tries to Wanga Blake, Dylan Brown, Nathan Brown, Marnie and King Guffo with tries. Moses 8 from 8. The Dragons 14 tries to Birds and Sims. Lomax 3 from 3. The Eels with only 1 change. Ryan Madison coming back for the injured Sean Lane. Mass changes to the Dragons. Both youngsters, Amone and Sloan, dropped from the starting side. Moses Mbai moved to fullback and Jack Bird to 5'8". Mbai. McCulloch also, he returned from injury. Jack DeBellin promoted to the starting side. Superb performances from the Eels halves, though. Mitchell Moses and Dylan Brown. Hasn't Dylan Brown stepped up this year and guided their side to a massive 48-14 win at CommBank Stadium there? It was a bit of a statement win. They dominated the Dragons physically, capitalised, Dylan Brown absolutely danced past Moses Baisia and Jack Guzewski to score the opening try. 5'8", Dylan Brown, as we said, purple patch of form has continued. The 21-year-old playmaker, arguably the best game of his career in last week's win over the Storm, was almost as good again this week with a wonderful solo try to start proceedings and causing headaches with absolutely every touch. Old Anthony Griffin, newly re-signed Anthony Griffin, pulled off huge changes to his team's playmaking structure. Jack Bird was involved and dangerous at 5'8". He did have a tough outing at fullback on both sides of the ball and was caught out of position several times, including for Mitchell Moses' try. And you got to say, after three straight heart stoppers to start the year, the Eels finally played in a match that wasn't decided in the final moments and repaired their worrying defensive figures in the process. Wanga Blake has been forced from centre to the wing by the Eels' injury crisis, and he might have found a permanent spot out there after a dominant showing on the flank. Yeah, 2 tries and over 200 metres, so some solid stats there.
I think Bing's his spot because he doesn't know how to pass. He's one of those centres that thinks run first, pass later. He's probably best suited out on that wing. Yeah, mate. Well, that brings up the round. Let's and at the top with Penrith and Melbourne in first and second place, as is pretty normal most seasons. Parramatta and the Sharks making that top 4. The big mover, the Warriors, moving into the 8, sitting in 7th spot. And the Bulldogs, Dragons and Tigers where I expect at the beginning of the year. Mate, it's time for Roo's rant. What's your rant for this week, mate?
Yeah, mate. So we've kind of touched on this one earlier, but I've called my rant this week the Gozzy Conundrum. And as we've said before, he was a dead set whipping boy last season by everyone, and it would seem that everyone had a sort of a shot at him last year. And yes, he did struggle at times, but we kind of need to look at the bigger picture with this young kid. He was brought over as last season on a development contract, and he definitely would have been expecting to get thrust into first grade as quickly or as unexpectedly as he did. It was only down to our injury crisis last year, and he debuted, as I said, unexpectedly against the Cowboys last year. So he's basically a young kid who was, as you said before, he was stacking woolly shelves at the time, and then suddenly he gets the call up to play first grade. And as we know, last week he made his return to first grade, and he easily had the best game of his very short career so far. He looked strong both in attack and defence. He did not put a foot wrong at all. He diffused every bomb. He looked safe under the high ball. He was actually defending over on our side, and granted, he is a noticeably big unit. When you see him in person, he is a big boy, and he will be a handful. In the future. And look, I couldn't be happier for the kid. He's such a nice young fella. He came over to us and said g'day after the game. As I said, such a lovely young man. And I said I just couldn't be happier for him. And hopefully it's this is like a launching pad for bigger things to come for the young man.
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret that we have. Let's say, what's the best way to put it?
Like some relationships with some of the players. Some players know us quite well. Other players know who we are and say hi, and then there's other players who have no idea who the hell we are.
Ed's one of those players that he knows us quite well. I met him after the Melbourne game last year, had a bit of a chat to him, and then kind of kept in contact with him, through social media, Messenger. Talked to him a fair bit. Had a good chat to him over the off season, and all he said was at the during the off season was that he was looking forward to getting an off season behind him because he really didn't have one with the Warriors. He was brought out here last year as a development player, and he was just one of those guys. And there's a couple of them out here now, the Warriors, who are training with a full-time squad but playing for Redcliffe, and that was what Ed was going to be doing last year until injury struck and he got his first grade opportunity. So he really just wanted to have a really good off season, learn some new skills, and
He has so much to
game.
learn. He's so young, and exactly. So, I mean, he's
so aware of that too. It's not like he's a young kid playing first grade and he's full of himself. He's so humble. He's so respectful, and that's all he was saying during the year was or during the off season was that he's going to put in the work and hopefully he gets an opportunity. Well, he got his opportunity and he played fantastic. And as we know, the team list has been made. He's retained his spot in the squad this week, and he's
very well deserved, Ed. Very well deserved, and
absolutely. Joining the RSA last year, and we're leaving the Cozy Club in droves. Hopefully, they rejoin the Cozy Club now. Who's RSA? What's the RSA club? I don't know. Anyway, mate, that's a good feel good rant that you've got this week. I was planning on doing Hammer's Hot Topic this week, but with my stint at the hospital today, I kind of really didn't get a chance to get anything together. But there is a couple of comments that have been made, and it's kind of got me interested to kind of just throw it out there. And there is talk now of a New Zealand versus Tonga test happening in New Zealand on I think they're saying the 25th of June, which is for two things. It's great that New Zealand is going to get some live rugby league again. But RSA is equivalent to RSL in New Zealand. Thank you, Ruben. There's a story come out today saying that the Warriors were a bit salty about it because it's going to take away from their homecoming. Well, no, it's not. It's a test match against Tonga. It's not the whole team coming home. But the question is, does Jerome Hughes and Dylan Brown basically force Sean Johnson out of the New Zealand test team when the team gets named? For me, I would say yes. I don't think Shawnee's got enough runs on the board. I mean, let's remember he didn't play since the 19th of July last year, and since then played 2 games. One was the loss against St George, where he picked up an injury, and he's had 1 game back in the Wasps jersey, where he's showing his wares. I think Hughes and Dylan Brown are the form halves of, like the form Kiwi halves of the competition at this point in time, and I think they would have to be your first choice. What are your thoughts on that, mate? Do you agree?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. It seems so long since we've seen any international footy. I can't even remember who the last Kiwi halves pairing was.
It was Sean Johnson and Cody Nikorima.
Johnson and Nikorima. Okay, well, it definitely won't be that next time. I think the Kiwis will have to pick on form, and I tend to agree. Johnson probably hasn't had the runs under his belt, and he's a second game back. If he can stay injury free and put on some strong form for the Warriors, he might be a chance. But those 2 guys you mentioned, Brown and Jerome Hughes, have been outstanding. Brown, especially this year, but Hughes over the last 2-3 seasons has been a standout half. So I think they might get the nod.
Yeah, absolutely. Should we get into round 5?
Yeah, let's take a look at how we line up this week. The Mr. Brown's boys named yesterday at fullback Reece Walsh. On the wings, as you've said before, Ed Gozzi and Marcelo Montoya, and Arthurs and Pompey in the centres. CHT and Sean Johnson in the halves. Front rowers are Foa, Wade Egan, Matt Lodge, Ewan Aitken, Bailey Sirinen, and Josh Curran. And on the bench, we've got Cody Nikorima, Elisi Katoa, Aaron Panay, and the merchandise. Hopefully he does get a run this week. Hopefully he sands the blue bib.
Hopefully. Yeah. Mate, some forced changes with Jazz out suspended for 2 weeks, and Big Benny Murdoch-Macilis succumbing to that ankle injury he picked up in the round 4 win against the Bronx. Adam Fanua-Blake also under an injury cloud. He's only been named on the extended bench. His selection in the game day 17 subject to a fitness later in the week. Bunty R4 moves into the starting row alongside Matt Lodge, and Sirinen returns from his COVID isolation and slots into the back row. with Josh Curran moving to his preferred lock position. And I think Josh would be happy with that as well. Eli Katoa moves bench, and the big unit, Aaron Penne, returns from his shoulder. The Merch named, as you said, named on the interchange bench, and we hope this week he can finally discard that blue 18-man bib and get some game time. No changes to the back line 1 to 7 with both Ed Cozzy retaining his spot on the wing. Career best effort last week. And both Rocco Berry and Billy named on the extended bench. Mate, what are your thoughts on this team selection? Share us your thoughts and opinions.
My thoughts and opinions. Oh, I also neglected to mention before, sorry, as we know, Adam Fanua-Blake is on the extended bench, along with Otokolo, Berry, Pedersen, Rabati, Ratuva, Valea, and Kepu. Fingers crossed that AFB is able to play, because we're going to need it with the Cowboys with their big forward pack, especially, coming up against Taumalolo. And it's great to have that 1-2 punch with Lodge and AFB back on there. They were so good last week. But otherwise, I think it's a very good-looking side, and we can start to build some continuity. And what we're saying before, if Chanel, Shawnee, and Reece Walsh can just click and attack, then it could be a good night for us.
Yeah, Malcolm Earnshaw says, when is Captain Tohu back? Yeah, not real sure. They were saying during the off-season, they were saying round 10, and then he was maybe round 7. So we're in round 5 now. I wouldn't be surprised if he's named on the extended bench next week. Ruben heard. But we did speak to Dallin. Dallin's back next week, so that's going to give Brownie something out in regards to his outside back selection for that Roosters game. But yeah, I like the makeup of the side. I'm really hoping if Adam doesn't play, that Aaron Penne gets some longs in this game.
Yes.
And I personally, if they're keeping Cody Nikorima on the bench as a backup for Wade Egan to play hooker, I would rather Daniel Otokolo 14 spot, but maybe he's there to cover the halves because Shawnee, pulled through the game on the weekend, but he's not quite 100% anymore. Yeah, quite possibly that would be the reason for that. Round 5, mate. What's happening?
We'll take a look. We'll take a look at the games. We'll go around the grounds. On Thursday night, we have the Knights versus Sea Eagles. The Knights have named an unchanged 17 to the team that was unable to score points against the Sharks last week. Sea Eagles, crucially, Tommy Turbo out for 4 to 6 weeks. We'll see how costly that will be for them. But Tolatau Kula named at fullback, and Christian Tuipulotu named in the centres, and Brad Parker named on the extended bench. I expect the Eagles to continue on their merry way, even despite the loss of Javojevic. I think that they'll be able to get over the Knights in a close one.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I've picked the Eagles 1 to 12. I like the selection of Cooper at fullback. He played good in the centres, and he set up a try, had a couple of line breaks. So in either side, he's got some speed to burn this young kid. Christian Tuipulotu, he came from the Roosters to Manly. He was a fringe player. Nearly got an opportunity at the Roosters. He was at Manly last year, and I found it quite odd. But then Brad Park, Hank Scorpio and Reece Feldman did quite well in the centres for Manly. Great to see him get a chance. But yeah, I think it'll be a Manly win. Caleb firing blanks at the moment. He really needs to find some form, that young kid.
The Knights bubble may have early season form might have burst already, but we'll see.
Friday night, the first game is the Mighty Warriors against the North Queensland Cowboys at Redcliffe.
Todd Payton Cup.
Yeah, yes, for the Toddy Payton Cup. For the Warriors, named on the extended bench, maybe a late inclusion. You hear Cooler has been ruled out. I haven't heard that. I'll keep my ear to the ground on that one. Bunty a foul named to start. Jaz Tavone suspended. Bailey Stern, the new man, into the third. Aaron Panay on the bench. For the Cowboys, WI Fido, he's out injured. Scotty Drinkwater moves into the fullback position. JTB named to play his former club, starting in the front row. Cohen Hess named on the extended bench and could be a late in. Mate, I tipped the Warriors 13 plus last week, and everyone thought I was mad, and we got it. So I'm going to tip them 1-12 this week, though. I think it'll be a tougher assignment against the Cowboys. Cowboys with a lot of similar to us. They've got a good mix of youth and experience, and that battle in the forwards is going to be good. So I'm going Warriors 1-12.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a fairly tough game, and Warriors hanging on to a nervous 4-point win. We move on to the second game on Friday night, and it's the Broncos versus the Roosters. Broncos, Billy Walters named to start for the injured Albert Kelly. Kobe Hetherington named at lock for the injured Pat Carrigan. Capewell and Ricky both back into starting 13. No changes to the Roosters squad from last week. I expect the Roosters to come out and towel up the Broncos, I think. 13 plus.
Yeah, 13 plus. It's going to be another home loss to the Broncos, I reckon. Yeah. What can you say? They're just... Super Saturday, the Storm. For the Raiders, there's no changes to the squad name from last week. And Ryan Sutton still find their way into that 17, named on the extended bench. The Storm, unsurprisingly, unchanged to the team that put 44 unanswered points on the Bulls. I don't think it'll be a blowout. I rate the Raiders, but the Raiders are just so inconsistent. It depends on which Raiders team turns up. But I'm gonna pick the Storm in a close, like 1-12, get the job done.
Yeah, I have to agree. Raiders have been very inconsistent this year, and the Storm will just be a bit too clinical for them.
Yep.
I think, I might even go Storm 13 plus, actually.
You can do that, mate. You're allowed to. Yeah. You can make your own decision.
Fine, I will. Moving on. Rabbitohs versus the Dragons. And this is the middle game in Super Saturday. And we have, for the Rabbitohs, Josh Mansour named on the wing for Alex Johnson. Thomas Burgess starting for the injured Mark Nichols, and Blake Taft named on the interchange bench for his first game of 2022. For the Dragons, Jaden Sewer returns from suspension. He's named in the back row. Jack Bird named at 6 again, and Moses Mbai still at fullback. Faletau Amoni moves back to the bench. Terrell Sloan named on the extended bench. I think they can expect another pumping this week, the Dragons. Rabbitohs 13 plus. Hey, Brad.
Yep, Rabbitohs 13 plus. Hey, Brad. Brad will be, he'll be agreeing with that one. The last game on Super Saturdays, Titans versus the Eels. For the Titans, Isaac Lurid from injury in the front row. Bo Firma also returns from injury, named in the back row. Jared Wallace retains his position in the 17 after a strong performance last. I thought he was one of the Titans' best. Sambo Skipper, our mate Sambo Skipper and Sam McIntyre, the two men to the interchange bench onto the extended bench. For the Eels, Fish Eyes Sean Lane named to return from injury, which moves Ryan Madison bench. Mitch Rain, former Titan, also named on the interchange bench. And Warriors signing Marata Nuikore, named on the extended, his first possible game of the season. I think the Eels will just keep skipping along. Dylan Brown and Mitch Moses having a field day with Gulfo back there. Marnie, that's probably one of the best spines in the competition. 13 plus. Yeah,
way too many points in them for the Titans to handle this week, and I agree it's going to be a big win to the Eels. First game on Sunday, Sharks versus the Tigers. And Sharks have named an unchanged lineup, and the Tigers, surprisingly, good mate Woogie hasn't wielded the axe on this misfiring Tigers side, naming an unchanged lineup. What else is there to say but Sharks by plenty?
Yeah, Sharks by 30. Tigers to name 8 captains is what I reckon.
8 captains. You guys are all captains. Just go out there and lead by example. That's what you should do.
Oprah Winfrey's
You're a captain. You're a captain.
Everyone's a captain. Yeah.
Mate, the last game of the round is going to be, I think Sunday is going to be just a points fest of rugby league. We've got the Bulldogs hosting the Panthers. For the Bulldogs, Brent Naden has been moved to wing, Jake Averillo into the centres, and the scout, Cole Flanagan, named at halfback. First game of the season. The Panthers, no changes at this stage. It's going to be a massive blow. I mean, Zoolander bringing out his third halfback in like 5 games of footy. I feel sorry for Cole Flanagan. He's going to be thrown to the wolves.
Fighting to nothing,
Mate, whatever score the Panthers put on him, Cole Flanagan's going to be going to cop the blame for it all. I feel sorry for the kid.
Poor bugger, yeah.
I think with a point scored on Sunday.
We will see a try or two, that's for sure.
Malcolm Earnshaw, Nathan and Burton doing the what the fuck did we do? Yeah, I think there's a couple of people doing that. Tavita Pang. Who else?
They just don't have the halves, do they? The Bulldogs. I mean, they've kind of stacked up with decent players in positions like the outside backs and the forwards, but yeah, without the halves, they just look directionless.
Ruben Allen Newman says he's captaining Hines in Supercoach this week after Roo predicts 30-point demolition of the Tigers.
Well, mate,
I've got Hines as my vice, and I've got what's his name? James Tedesco as my captain. I've got Hines as my captain, James Tedesco as my vice, and if Tedesco mounts a big score, I'm going to do a captain's loop and try and get those points because I need something in Supercoach. I'm going shit this year.
Well, mate, Ruben, I don't play Supercoach, so I wouldn't listen to me. But they do. I have been known to be a bit of a Nostradamus, but that's only usually predicting when we're about to blow a lead. So I'll just keep my mouth shut.
Yes, you do that.
Guys, don't forget our live shows coming up. We've got every Wednesday, we've got our Warriors review, and obviously next week will be our Round 5 review. Also on Tuesday night, we'll be going over the NRLW Grand Final. We'll talking points from that as well.
And talking NRLW Dally M's as well, which are on tomorrow night.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so don't miss that. And, of course, we'll be continuing to make those connections with the former players to bring you more of those interviews that you guys enjoy. There's a couple more of those we've got lined up, and we'll be announcing those very soon. Some couple of chats with our former legends, a couple of former Warriors players of the year, so that'll be a good one. Keep an eye out in our events page on Facebook for any upcoming fan pre-game meetups. So there'll be another one at Redcliffe this Friday. So get there as early as you can. I mean, I know it's a bit of a mission with the game, the starting time, and all the weekend traffic heading to the Sunshine Coast. But if you're around, get there. It's a Dolphins Leagues Club. Unfortunately, we can't book tables or an area, but we just sort of meet at the sports bar out the back there. So it's a great area and great atmosphere there. And if you're lucky, guys, you might even see Wayne Bennett working at the front door like we did last week, eh?
Absolutely, yeah. Good on you, Wayne.
On your Wayne, yeah. Just chipping in around the joint. That's what he does.
He was.
Guys, don't forget round 10. That is Magic Round, and we have our fan meetup at the Lord Alfred Hotel, top of Caxton Street there. Do not miss this one. 12 p.m, Saturday, 14th of May. Special guests, Warrior number 76, Mark Tukey, Warrior number 86, Kevin Campion, and Warrior 127, Grant Ravelli, are all confirmed to be joining us for that event. So that will be a fantastic day out. So don't miss that. Put that in your diaries now.
Absolutely. And Malcolm Earnshaw says, I'll cheers bar in the city wearing my pricey shirt on Friday. Mate, yeah, that looked awesome. That picture you sent through, that was awesome, mate. Yeah, and thank you for your support that too.
Yeah, glad you
and speaking, just a reminder that we are on Patreon. It's our membership subscription support platform that enables you guys, our followers, to show your support of us and the content we provide. We'll be unlocking more support platforms in the coming weeks, but for now, we do have our basic bronze tier up and running.
Yeah, that's right. And you can head to our Patreon page to show your support and subscribe to our bronze tier, which is set at the lowest possible amount. That's just $3 a month. You know, it's next to nothing. The link is on the screen there. We've also partnered with Torius Screen Print to produce all of our merchandise, and there's going to be a very special Patreon-only merchandise range that will be coming out, and we'll be releasing that very soon. So keep your eyes open for that, and we'll be exclusive Patreon-only merchandise only available. So we're going to be having silver, gold, diamond, and platinum memberships available soon. We just need to iron out some of the details there. We'll be launching those as soon as we can. And as soon as those tiers are available, they'll be on Patreon. So keep your eyes peeled. Just a few other ways that you can help support us bring you all the content on this show.
Absolutely. And just a little bit of a heads up too. Hopefully this Friday at the game, you might see us sporting the next of our Halftone Heroes shirts that will be coming out soon, available for purchase. Can't give away who it is, but let's just say it quite possibly could be a current player.
We will neither confirm or deny that, but yes.
Yep. But we'd like to thank all those who have subscribed to our Bronze Tier Patreon program so far. Daniel Delore, Peregrine Falconer, Sean Kurzweil, Fabian Maroa, Stevie Williams, Christian Catley, Alf Tuolave, TK Harris, Ted Clark, Inamete, Lisa Marie Bateman, Ken Wills, Nigel Phillips, Kane Fraser, Jermaine Jones, Malcolm Earnshaw, and Enzo. We thank you guys very, very much, and we really do appreciate all your support.
And happy birthday to Malcolm Earnshaw for Friday night. Yes, we hope we do get a win for you. That would be the icing on the cake.
Absolutely.
Don't forget, if you miss any of our live shows, you can catch up on Facebook page by going to our video section, or you can go to our YouTube channel and catch up there. The easiest way to find any of our videos, though, is to head to our link tree, which you can see on your screen there, and that will take you to everything we've ever done. That will be all of our interviews, live chats, special presentations. Don't forget to hit subscribe on your YouTube channel as well, so you'll never miss any of our streamed content. Doesn't cost a thing, and I'll be doing another Roo Remembers hopefully tomorrow. So keep your eyes peeled for that one on YouTube.
If you're doing Roo Remembers, should I do a series Hammer Tries to Forget? Where you can talk about good things and I can talk about the things.
You'll have too much content, mate. You'll have too much to talk about.
I know. It'll be a video a day for the next 365 days. Also, too, if you're a podcast fan, you can catch all our episodes on our podcast platforms. We're on Spotify, Apple, Google, Breaker, Radio Direct, and iHeartRadio. Make sure you subscribe to us there. All our episodes are uploaded directly after we go live on a Wednesday night. So they're ready to listen to every Thursday morning. And please head to our Instagram page. That's where we do shares to our Facebook page. So all our Warrior news, plans, and all other Warriors-related content, upcoming events, when we're advertising our live guests and so forth, all on Instagram. So head there and follow us there at Roo Hammer.
Yeah, well, that's it for another show. Thank you so much to all you guys who are watching on both Facebook and YouTube. We really appreciate all your continued support, and it's very much appreciated from both of us.
It is. Thanks so much to everyone that tuned in tonight. Thank you all for, joining in the conversation. We love that. That's the whole reason we go live, is so that it's not just Rob and I sitting here talking to each other and uploading a recorded video. We love having this kind of interaction with you guys.
Some great banter tonight. Some interesting topics. Everything from John Stamos to Supercoach to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, fantastic.
Loved hearing how Aussies follow Kiwis. Had a group of 6 Aussies Warriors supporters watching Warriors with Manly about 7 years ago. Yeah, mate, we're a special breed, us Aussie-based Warriors supporters.
There's a lot of us out there. There's a lot more than you think. Guys like me who have no Kiwi roots or ties at all, but just fell in love with the team for whatever reason. And it's awesome. Like we support the team out of love for the side, not because we're born into it. So, yeah, exactly. Love it. Wouldn't change anything.
No. Payne and Albie Kelly going to get banned for the punch-up video? I don't know, mate. You know what? To me, it's a contentious. That was just 2 blokes having a bit of a scuffle, and someone's videotaped it and leaked it. And to me, it's like the Todd Carney bubbler photos.
where it was just a private moment that someone shared, and because of that, his whole career was turned upside down on its head. So yeah, I agree with Ruben. I think it's a storm in a teacup. But yeah, who knows? The NRL, they're a funny beast, the NRL integrity unit.
They certainly are.
Yeah, guys, thanks very much. If you can get to Moreton Daily Stadium on Friday night, get there.
We'd love to meet you guys. Yep.
Yep.
Love to put a face to the name. Yep.
We met a couple of followers last week. The opportunity to meet a couple of people, have a beer with them, which was great. So yeah, it'd be great if you're there, come and say hello. And also too, if you're in and around Redcliffe on Sunday, big day for the women's game with the grand final up there. So you can get along and support them as well. Till then, guys, everyone stay safe. I'll let you all know how my operation goes tomorrow.
Yeah, keep us posted. Thanks, guys. Take care and go the Warriors. Cheers.
Go the Warriors.